welcome to my channel. Subscribe, listen, and enjoy my stories every day. I usually return home late from work, long after the sun has settled beneath the horizon and the bustling city quiets down to a mere whisper. Today, though, was different. A nagging headache had me leaving the office right after lunch, the midday sun glaring down as if to highlight my unusual routine. My footsteps echoed in the empty hallway of our old apartment building, a stark contrast to the usual late-night silence. As I approached our door, the faint murmur of voices seeped through. Confusion furrowed my brow. Anna should be alone. My keys jangled softly as I unlocked the door, the sound unnaturally loud in the tense silence that I stepped into. The voices grew clearer, a soft whispering that seemed to emanate from the bathroom. My heart raced, palms sweaty as I tiptoed closer. The door was ajar, just slightly, allowing me to catch the unmistakable sound of my wife, Anna's, voice mingled with a man's laughter. "Honey, I'm getting tired of living in this poor apartment with this loser. When are you going to leave your wife for me already?" Anna's words sliced through me like a knife, her tone dripping with impatience and disdain. I stifled the anger rising in my throat, my initial impulse to storm curbed by a cold, calculating calm. Who was she talking to? Who was she calling a loser? A bitter taste filled my mouth as I listened to her continued cooing and giggling, her betrayal laying open our fractured life. I quietly retreated from the door, my mind racing with fury and thoughts of retribution. As I sank into the living room sofa, the pieces of a plan began to form. Anna's deceit wouldn't go unpunished. I needed evidence, something concrete to expose her infidelity and turn the tables. The next few hours were a blur of activity. I installed a small, nearly invisible camera in the living room, angled to capture the front door and most of the living area. If that man was going to come into my home, I'd have him on video. Another camera found its place in the hallway, its lens peering towards the bathroom door. I tested the angles, ensuring nothing essential would be missed. As the sun began to set, I left the apartment just as quietly as I had entered earlier. Anna would find everything as usual when she woke up from her afternoon nap. Little did she know, every whisper and every betrayal would now be recorded, every step she took towards her downfall meticulously documented. I spent the night at a friend's house, my phone buzzing with motion alerts, each one a confirmation of Anna's movements around our once-shared home. The plan was in motion, the gears of revenge slowly turning. And as I lay awake on my friend's couch, a single thought comforted me: Anna would never see it coming. I knew the road to vengeance would be dark and possibly lonely, but as I drifted into a restless sleep, my resolve only hardened. Tomorrow, I would watch the recordings. Tomorrow, I would know the full extent of her treachery. Tomorrow, the real game would begin. The pale light of dawn creeps through the window as I finally rouse from a fitful sleep. The events of yesterday replay in my mind like a sinister film, each detail etching deeper into my resolve. I drive back to the apartment, my hands steady on the wheel despite the storm brewing within me. As I step through the door, the apartment feels colder, unwelcoming, as if even it knows of the betrayal it houses. I beeline to the laptop set up on the dining table, where the live feeds from the cameras wait. I sit, my heart pounding, and start the playback. The footage is damning. Anna moves about the apartment with a grace that now seems mocking. She's on her phone, laughing, then she moves out of frame, presumably back to the bathroom. Minutes later, the front door opens. A man walks in, tall, well-dressed, with a smirk that doesn't reach his eyes. He embraces Anna, and they share a kiss that sends a jolt of anger through me. "Are you sure he won't be back anytime soon?" the man asks, his voice dripping with a disdain that mirrors Anna's from yesterday. "He's always working late, we won't be disturbed," Anna replies, a lie so effortless it chills me. I pause the video, my mind racing. This is the evidence I need, but something inside me demands more proof, more planning, more allies in this game of revenge. I decide it's time to bring someone else into the fold. I call Mia, Anna's sister. She has always been kind to me, and her sense of justice had often led her to mediate conflicts in the family. I trust her, and right now, I need someone I can trust. Mia answers on the third ring, her voice sleepy. Hey, what's up? It's early. I need to show you something important. Can you come over? I try to keep my voice steady. Sure, I'll be there in 30, she replies, a note of concern creeping into her tone. By the time Mia arrives, I have the footage queued up. Her face pales as she watches, her hand flying to her mouth in shock. Oh my God. I can't believe Anna would. We need to plan carefully, I say, the wheels turning in my head. He's coming over again today. I heard them planning last night. Mia nods, her usual warmth replaced by a steely resolve. What do you need from me? I need more information on him, I say, pointing at the still-paused image of the man on my screen. Can you find out who he is? And I need to make sure this isn't just about money or a fling. Mia's nod is firm. I can do that. I have a friend in the police department. We can get a background check done quietly. As Mia leaves to start her part of the investigation, I prepare for the day. The apartment needs to look lived in, unsuspecting. I clean, I rearrange, and all the while, I plan. Today, I will confront them, not with anger, but with a cold, calculated confrontation that will set the stage for the final act of this drama. The doorbell rings earlier than expected. It's him. I straighten my shirt, check the camera angles one last time, and stride toward the door with a deceptive calm. As I open it, his smirk fades slightly, replaced by a flicker of surprise. Hello, I say, extending a hand that he hesitantly shakes. You must be here for Anna. Please, come in. The trap is set. The players are all here. Now, the real game begins. The air in the apartment is thick with tension as I lead the man, still unnamed to me, into the living room. He perches uneasily on the edge of the couch, his eyes darting around, taking in his surroundings with a cautious curiosity. I sit opposite him, my demeanor calm, though my heart races with anticipation. So, I didn't catch your name, I start, watching him closely. His hesitation is palpable. Tom, he finally says. And you are? I'm the loser Anna has probably told you about, I reply, my tone light but edged with steel. His face flushes, a telltale sign that he recognizes the term, confirming what I heard on the video. I think there's been some misunderstanding, Tom stammers, looking towards the hallway as if hoping for Anna's sudden appearance. Quite the contrary, I interject, standing to pace slowly in front of him. I understand perfectly. You're the man who wants to take my wife away from this poor apartment, aren't you? Tom swallows hard, his eyes flickering with a mix of fear and defiance. Look, I don't want any trouble, he mutters. Trouble? I laugh, a hollow sound that bounces off the walls. No, there will be no trouble here. We're just going to have a conversation. At that moment, Anna emerges from the bedroom, drawn by the sound of raised voices. Her eyes widen in shock when she sees Tom and me together. What's going on here? She demands, her voice shaky. Just a friendly chat, I say, turning to face her. The camera angles in my mind, I need this confrontation recorded from every possible perspective. Tom was just about to tell me about his plans for the future. Weren't you, Tom? Anna looks between us, her face pale. I can explain, she begins, but I cut her off. No need for explanations, Anna. I've heard enough, I say, holding up my phone with the recording app displayed. Her eyes fixate on the screen, and her shoulders slump. Tom rises, looking desperate. This isn't what it looks like. Oh, but I think it is, I retort. But there's something you both need to see. I click on the phone, and the voices from the bathroom conversation fill the room. Anna's disparaging words echo, her face crumples in dismay, and Tom's discomfort grows. When the recording ends, the silence is deafening. Anna's voice is a whisper, "Please, I can explain." "It's too late for that," I say coldly. "I wanted to see if you would come clean yourself, but I guess that was too much to expect." I turn to Tom. "You should know, Anna has been leading you on. She had no intention of leaving me. This was all a game to her." Tom looks at Anna, betrayal written across his face. "Is that true?" he asks, his voice cracking. Anna hesitates, then nods, tears starting to form in her eyes. "I'm sorry, Tom. I was confused." Disgust and realization dawn on Tom's face as he turns to leave. "I want no part of this," he declares, heading for the door. Anna tries to follow him, pleading, but he shuts the door behind him with finality. Now alone with Anna, the gravity of the moment settles around us. Her betrayal, now fully uncovered, hangs heavily in the room. "Anna, you need to leave," I say firmly. "I'll be filing for divorce. You'll hear from my attorney." Her tears flow freely now, but my decision is resolute. "This was your making, Anna. You chose this path." As she packs a bag with trembling hands, the apartment feels larger, emptier. I watch her leave, the door closing with a soft click that marks the end of our life together. The cameras capture it all, the final act of a play where no one wins. Sitting back down, I let out a long breath. The revenge is complete, but the taste of it is bitter. The apartment feels eerily silent in the aftermath of Anna's departure. I sit alone, surrounded by the ghosts of a life that had once seemed so secure, now shattered beyond recognition. The doorbell rings, jolting me from my thoughts. I hesitate before answering, half expecting to see Anna or Tom, perhaps with pleas or apologies. Instead, it's Mia, her eyes wide with urgency. "I found something you need to see," Mia says the moment I open the door. She doesn't wait for an invitation, striding past me to the living room. Her hands shake slightly as she opens her laptop and begins clicking through various tabs. "What is it?" I ask, my voice echoing slightly in the empty room. "It's about Tom," Mia replies, her focus intense. She turns the screen toward me, and I see a detailed background report. My eyes skim the information, stopping abruptly at a section highlighted by Mia. "Look at this," she says, pointing. "Tom isn't just some random guy. He's been linked to multiple cases of fraud and blackmail. And here's the kicker, he's married, with a record of domestic disturbances." I reel back, absorbing the implications. So, he was never going to leave his wife for Anna. He was using her. Mia nods grimly. "And there's more. I spoke to my friend at the police again. They've been looking into a ring of con artists who manipulate their targets into giving them money, promising them a future together, then disappearing. Tom fits the profile perfectly." The pieces click into place, a mosaic of deceit far more elaborate than I had imagined. Anna had been manipulated, her discontent exploited by a seasoned predator. A wave of guilt washes over me. Had my late work hours and lack of attention driven her into the path of a predator? "We need to warn Anna," I say, grabbing my coat. "She might still be in danger." Mia and I drive to Anna's sister's place where she said she'd be staying. The drive is tense, each of us lost in our thoughts. We arrive to find Anna looking fragile but composed. Her reaction to seeing us is one of wary confusion. "Anna, we need to talk," I begin, but Mia interrupts, laying out everything we've discovered about Tom. Anna listens, her face crumpling with each revelation. "I had no idea," she whispers, her voice cracking. I thought he loved me, that we would start a new life together. It was all a lie, Anna. He's done this before, Mia adds, her tone gentle. The conversation turns to what Anna should do next. Police reports, possible charges against Tom, and the hard work of rebuilding her life. I find myself speaking up, suggesting ways to help, surprising even myself with my willingness to aid her despite everything. As we discuss, there's a knock at the door. Anna's sister answers it, returning with a serious-looking man in a suit who introduces himself as Detective Larson. He's here about Tom, who's been apprehended earlier in the day thanks to a tip-off. Anna, we'll need your statement, Detective Larson says. You could help us make sure he doesn't do this to anyone else. Anna nods, a determined glint in her eyes. I'll do whatever it takes, she affirms. As we leave, Mia squeezes my shoulder. You did good today, she says. Back at my now too quiet apartment, I sit down, a weight somewhat lifted. The last few days have been a whirlwind of betrayal and deceit, but also of revelations and, strangely, reconciliation. Anna was a victim too, in her own way. Forgiveness seems a distant, but not impossible, prospect. The evening closes in, and I realize that the revenge I thought I wanted had morphed into something else, a desire for justice, not just for myself, but for others who might fall prey to such cruelty. The road ahead is unclear, but for the first time in days, I feel ready to face whatever comes. As I turn off the lights and head to bed, I understand that sometimes, the best-laid plans of vengeance are undone by the simple, painful, but necessary path of truth and reconciliation.